Okay, we're almost there. This is lesson 6. This one we're doing the flippers that kick the ball around, okay, or flip it around. So let's go ahead and draw them first. So we'll click on, well, don't click on this, just mouse over it, then come up and paint them. Okay, I like to zoom in, and you want to start right on the very center. Okay, I like to draw kind of a triangle shaped. So click and drag, and then let's see, so that'll be the tip, and then we'll come down and then just up. Okay, so if you want to modify it, you can click on this reshape button. We can come over here and we can click on it, and we can add little dots, or you can delete them. So if I click, it adds it. If you click on one that's already been made, you can modify it. So you can find the right shape, and you see it over here and make it work. So if you accidentally add one instead of clicking on it, you'll just have to make it work. Okay, so find something that looks good. Just keep in mind that if you want a different shape, wherever the center mark is right here, that's where it rotates around. So that's like your pivot point. So just keep that in mind. Some people want more of a, like a round circle here with a part coming off of it. So like draw a circle and then a line coming off of it. Whatever looks good for you. I like to keep it nice and flat just because of the way that the code works, as far as angles and whatnot. Just makes it more realistic. Anyway, so I'm going to move this up, bring this one down. I'm going to give it some color. Oh, come on. Okay, so now I'm going to give it some color. There we go. So now it's red. If we want to make it bigger, you can always come over here and drag it out and make it bigger, so on and so forth. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is put the wall about right there, flipper right about there, right there. Okay. So, okay. Why'd I wear a green shirt? Okay. All right, now, so here it is. Now, after you draw it nice and flat, go to the direction and let's bring it down to what looks good. And whatever that is, 135 actually is a nice, good number. Let's do that. You can make yours what you want. Okay, so 135. Let's go to the code. Okay. And now notice that I'm on the sprite, not sprite, it's going to be called flipper. Okay. Flipper. I'm clicked on the flipper, not the ball. If I clicked on the ball, you'd see the ball code. The flipper doesn't have any code yet, but we're going to put code on the flipper itself, kind of like we had, a little bit of code on the backdrop. All right, so a little bit of code on the flipper because we want buttons to control the flipper. Okay, so there's a couple things I want to do on the flipper. So we're going to make it so that when we hit the space bar, it'll go. All right, so to do that, we're going to be controlling it, actually an event when the space key is pressed. Okay, and I also want to create a variable. The reason why is because I want the ball to know when it's actually flipping. When the flipper is actually moving, I want it to add speed to the ball, but when it's not moving, I want the ball to just bounce off it like a normal wall. Okay, so we're going to create a variable that's going to communicate and say, okay, yes, I'm flipping, or no, I'm not actually moving. Okay, all right, so make a variable and we'll call it flipping because it's letting us know if we're flipping or not. And it's for all sprites because I want it to communicate to the ball. All right, so say okay. All right, so as soon as I hit the space key, I want to set flipping to 1, kind of like a binary, yes, I'm moving or no, I'm not. Okay, so set flipping to 1, then we're going to repeat like 10 times. Let's try 10 times, see if that works. Motion, we're going to, okay, turn to the right, or left, I mean, left. And let's go like 6 degrees or 5 degrees at a time. All right. So when I click that, it's going to do it. It's just going to keep going all the way around. Okay. Now I lost my, what did we want that to be? That was 135, right? Yeah. Okay. That reminds me. Let's do another event. When the flag is clicked, we want to, let's see, point in direction 135. So if I mess it up, click on the flag and it's good to go. Okay. So every time we start the game, it'll make sure it's in the right spot. Okay, so let's keep going. So after it goes up, I want it to stop being a 1 because it's done. So we'll go to the variables and we'll set the flipping back down to 0 again. Okay. I like it to pause there for a split second. Okay, so I'm going to go to control again. We're going to wait like, I don't know, 5 seconds. So really short amount, just pause before it comes back down. Give it time to let things happen. And then we're going to do a wait until. So I want it to come up. Oh, let me fix that again. I want it to come up and stay up until I let go of the button and then come down. Okay, so wait until, let's go to sensing. Where's the space key? And until we're not pressing the space key. So here we go to operators. It's kind of like a logic gate here. Wait until we're not pressing the key. Okay, and then we'll come back down. Okay, so we're going to repeat again the 10 times. And then instead of turning to the left, we're going to turn to the right. 5 degrees. And then, there we go. Let's try that. So up. And so it'll stay up, and then when I let go, it comes down. So if I just tap it, it'll finish it. And if I hold it down, let's go. Okay. And we like it. So that's that for that one. Now, you can play with the repeat and the degrees. If you have less repeats and more degrees, it moves faster. More repeats and less degrees, it'll go slower. So you play with those numbers, find out what you like. It's up to you on that. If you want it to pause longer, you can, or not pause at all, you can. You can change these numbers, except for the flipping. Leave those alone. Okay, and this as well. You can change where it starts. All right, let's go to the ball. This one's not that bad. Okay. All right, so just like everything else, we're going to create a new function. They call it a block, we call it a function. Make a function. Okay, hit flipper. Hit flipper. And which flipper did we just hit? Okay. I'm actually going to run this one normal. Okay, so don't run this one super fast, or else it might do something weird. Okay, you can try it and then turn it off. It's up to you. All right, so there's our magic block that it creates. And now we got to tell it what to do. Okay, so flipper. All right, so let's do this. If All right, now let's find a operator that says equal. Okay, so we're going to look at the fact of whether or not it's flipping or not. Okay, so if flipping, let's go to variables, find flipping. So if flipping is equal to 0, and then we'll have a situation for, we'll just duplicate it, for if flipping is equal to 1. All right, so if flipping is 0, do this. If flipping is 1, do that. Okay, so if it's a 0, we're going to run the hit wall command. We already made it. Let's just use it. It's pretty easy. It's in our blocks. Hit the wall, and we'll do it with the flipper. Okay, and it will already check if it's touching it or not. So we don't need the if touching. We don't need to check it twice. So if it's flipping and we're actually hitting the flipper, hit wall right here. So if it's touching the flipper, so on and so forth. So it just takes it and just sticks it in here. So it's as if this whole code is already written right here. So that's the cool thing about using functions is if you reuse things, you can just say, hey, do that again. All right, enough of that. Keep going. All right, so, but if it is a 1, we are going to check if it's touching. So if we're actually touching it, right? So if, and then if we're touching it, we got to be sensing. So if we're touching the flipper, okay, then we're going to point in direction. Okay, so we're going to make the ball point in the direction of the flipper. Let's see. Motion. Point in direction. Direction of flipper minus 90. Let's find the operator. We need a minus. We do a little equation. So it's going to face the same way as the flipper and then go 90. So it's going to shoot right off of it. Okay. So first we point it with the flipper and then shoot off of it. And as it's flipping, it'll change what angle it shoots off at. So, we're using math like crazy here, right? So if you take a really advanced coding class, you might actually be able to get some math credit for it. All right. Anyway, let's do this. So point in direction of the flipper. Where's the of? Not that of. We want. There's the one right here. Now this is a really weird button right here. We need to first change this to like flipper, and you'll notice your screen will shift. But once you do that, then you can actually change this to direction. Direction won't be available until you change it to flipper because it defaults to backdrop and the backdrop doesn't have a direction. So change this one first and then you'll have the option of direction. All right. Direction of flipper minus 90. Okay. So there's that one. That's probably the hardest one to do. All right. Because you have to know how to do that. All right. So change speed by, okay, let's do that. Change speed. That would be in a variable because it's a variable, right? So we're going to change this to speed. Now this is the speed of the ball. Now if the flipper hits it and it hits it more towards the tip of the flipper, it's going to speed up that ball a lot faster than if it just hits right here. So we're going to have a little equation here for that as well. All right. So we're going to use an operator. This time let's use divide. All right, and that's it. Distance to flipper. So distance to flipper, where is that? Distance to. Oh, we want to change this to flipper right there. Okay. And then this one's to flipper divided by, let's start out with like 10. Let's see what happens. When I practiced this, I did 15, but let's see what happens with 10. Okay, so let's slow this down. And oh, what's happening? Oh, we forgot to even use it. That'd be nice if we used it, right? Hit wall, not wall, flipper. Make sure you spell it exactly the same. Okay. And no spaces. If you have a space in there, it also causes problem. All right, let's try it again. So if it's not moving, it'll bounce off of it just like it's a wall. Okay. But if we run it, it should give it some speed. Okay, so I think it gave it too much speed. So I'm going to put it up to 15. It depends on how long, whoa, it's cruising. So, all right. All right, so let's try hitting it at a, oh, well, there's something going on there. It's speeding up no matter what. Stop. Okay, I did something wrong. Oh, that's what I did right there. This goes inside of that. That's why. If flipping's one, then changes. So like, no matter what, if flipping was one, it was adding speed. That's why it was just taking off. And the further the ball was away on the screen from it, the faster it got. All right, let's try that again. All right. There we go. All right, so right there it adds a little bit more speed. And then right here, just a little bit, but right here, yeah. So maybe that's not enough now. So 10 again. Oh, there went my lights. All right. Come on, motion detectors. Catch me. All right, there we go. Now we have light. Okay, so far so good. Pretty easy, right? Again, if you want this to go faster, do less repeats, but more rotation per repeat. Okay. I don't know if you're noticing that or not, but every once in a while the ball is making it through, which is going to be a problem. So we'll look at that. I think what happens is when it hits both the flipper and the wall at the exact same time, it kind of freaks out. So we're going to figure out a fix for that. I think it's just about the spacing of it. Okay. So we'll figure out what the best spacing is, and we'll discuss that in class. Anyway, all right. So that's something you're going to have to play with. Anyway, let's make another flipper, okay? To make another flipper, you can't just copy this one because you want it facing the other way, all right? Let's stop it from freaking out, okay? So we have to actually paint another one, okay? And this time when we draw it, we're going to draw it the other way. Actually, we could copy it and just flip it. Let's try that. Let's get rid of this one and let's duplicate that. But we're going to take it right here and we're going to flip it the other way. Okay, like that. See what happens. Oh my gosh, hold on, undo, undo, undo. Watch this. Flip horizontal, done. Oops, not done. We have to move it so that the pivot point is right on there again. Okay, so try that one. I think that'll work better. So flip it and then move it. But look at this. There we go. It does this little scissor action here. All right, so how do we fix this? Well, let's take a look inside the code. So the other one needs to do the opposite. So basically all we have to do is switch these. Now we're doing that. And what do we want the direction of this one to be? Okay. 40. Try 40. 40. And try that. Okay, so we have one thing left to do, and that is to make it so the ball can actually hit it, because this is known as flipper 2. So let's go back to the ball code, and let's come right here, and we'll change this one to flipper 2. That wasn't your bell, that was the bell in the video. So everybody's gonna think the bell rang now when they're listening to this lesson. All right. Boom, boom. Yep, they both work. So the rest of the time, spend some time finding the perfect angles for everything and making it look good. Try it out. We'll create a trap for the ball to fall into, and scoring and sound effects all on the last video. So we basically got almost everything done. So it's going to be fun from here on out. It's just a lot less coding, more just making it look good. All right. Don't forget to save, and then save as a copy. Change that to 7, and then save again.